on Sunday, a big game. Are you and the boys looking forward to that one?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's another game for us to get out there and try and gain 2 points against what is a very good team. It's not so long since we previewed them and played them at Wembley, so we both know, I think, what each other's teams are about. It's be good to catch up with Mark again. Always enjoy coaching against Mark and catching up with him. So there's some great people at York who I'm really good friends with. So I'm looking forward to catching up with everybody.
You said after the final that you thought both teams played well. Might you have to do something slightly different this week in terms of game plan to get a result?
Yeah, win would be nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Wembley was a tough one for us to take. I thought both teams played okay at Wembley. I don't think either team was great. The weather was conducive to that, but we've changed a couple of little things subtly. We've changed a little bit of what we're doing defensively and how we're going to help out our edges on D. So we've changed a couple of things. Offensively, we've got some different players that we want to try out. When you play the best teams in the competition, and York are one of the best, you've got to come up with something different because it's such a good side, particularly without the football in hand. So, that let alone with the football in hand, we're not a bad side either. So York are going to have to come up with some answers as to how we're playing and what we're doing because we're not playing too badly ourselves.
We're at the stage now that sort of the halfway point of the season. Where would you say Paul Cooke's Featherstone Rovers are at this stage of the season?
Well, halfway through a season doesn't lie. We haven't been good enough in the early part of the season, and there's lots of reasons for that. And I don't want to say I told you so, but when we got a couple of halves back on the field and we got our spine back to where it needed to be, then we start picking up results, and that's really important for us in terms of keeping them players fit and keeping them on the field because they guide us around the field. So. We've also got one or two of the middles playing a bit better, and we've got Brad Day back in the team as a back row. I know we've lost Toby, but there's been a number of reasons why we are where we are, but it's still not acceptable to us. It's as simple as that. And the second half of the season's got to be a hell of a lot better than the first, and that's what we're working hard to be.
You touched on Brad Day there. Probably a mainstay of your pack for a number of weeks since Brad returned is Brad and Clay Webb in the back row. How pleased have you been with those two players?
Yeah, Clay particularly. Clay's played on the left edge and done okay, and Brad's played predominantly the majority of his career here on the left edge as a back rower. So Clay's got a bit of an understanding out there with Ben Reynolds and Caleb and James Glover and Connor Wynn. So we've got to do. Brad's had to bide his time on the right edge, but he did a great job. I thought the try he scored last weekend, which blew the game open for us, put us back in front, was a big one for us. And he puts everything into what he does. He plays the way that he trains, and it was nice to see him get over on his 100th appearance for the club last weekend. So I think that the consistency we're getting with everybody on the field and fit, and a little bit of continuity in terms of team selection. So as we said, we're going to have to come up with something different this weekend for York, and we've made one or two changes to what we expect to be able to do.
In terms of the squad as a whole, a couple of players missing that have been missing for a while. We spoke about Carlos the other week, but a couple of guys who are out at the minute, Robson Stevens and Callum Turner, are they nearing getting back into the team? Yeah,
Robson's probably a week away. Callum's a week or two. Is his pain dependent and strength dependent in his shoulder. He got a dislocated shoulder against Hunslet. So we're not too far off with them two. Carlos is obviously the more long-term one. There's a couple of other little niggles in there. So. But we're nearing everybody coming back, and we're nearing players coming back from injury into fitness. So hopefully we'll have everybody fit and available shortly, and be able to make some decisions on who we play for whatever reason we play against a different team.
And having Callum back around the squad is big, isn't it? Because whilst he hasn't played a massive number of games, I think a couple of weeks ago you said he's really been pushing the players that are playing in those positions. To have him back around the squad puts the pressure on the other half of the football.
Yeah, it does, and that's what this is all about. This is a game it's not won by 17, it's won by 25 players that train all week and prepare the team to play against the team that they're playing against. So Callum's been fantastic and deserved his chance against Hunslet, and as is normal, when you get your opportunity, something happens and goes wrong, and we hope we can get Callum back on the field shortly and playing, and along with Robson and Carlos and one or two others that are not in in the team due to injury. So if we can get everybody back fit, then it drives the standards of training as well.
And just a final message for the fans, expecting a pretty decent following at York, as there always is. They'll play a big part on Sunday, won't they?
Yeah, they will, because these are a decent team. As we've said, that they're not sat where they are in the league and as consistent as they are for no reason. So, as I said, it'll be great to catch up with some people, but ultimately we're going there for 2 points, and our supporters and the community of Featherstone can come out and help that, and they are always massive for us, as we've said. So, the hard work's been done. The coaching staff, Jed and Ian, have previewed the York team in terms of defensively what we need to do, and attack-wise what we need to do. We've got some players that we want to try, and we're looking forward to the challenge, and the fans will play a big part for us.